Welcome back to Dig the Game, and in today's video I'm going to be covering 6 general tips and tricks and things that I think will help anyone new to the game that's trying to understand the mechanics of it. I might give you a little bit of a jump start in it, and I might offer a couple of little bonus tips as well as we're going through. So to start off, I want to talk about tip number 1, resources. So getting started in the game, you're going to get dropped off by a bird, and you have to collect wood and stones. Now, to collect wood, it's pretty easy, and you're probably already going to understand this from any other game, but if I just punch a tree, eventually I'm going to knock that tree down. There, I got 3 wood out of chopping down that, or knocking down that tree. Soon, I'll be able to unlock an axe, and with the axe, I can chop down stumps, enemies. Now, when you're getting started in the game, you're likely not going to be able to axe enemies to death, especially not with the very first axe you're going to get. But once you get the axe, I can chop down a tree. Be careful that the tree does not fall on you. It will give damage and could actually kill you early on. You'll notice that my hit points are up to 227, and I'll explain why they're so high when we get to tip number 2. But you can just see I gathered tons of wood laying on the ground all around different areas. You're going to see these bigger rocks. Here's a branch. I can just pick that up and get wood. But you'll also find little stone. Okay, so on the ground here I have a little stone. I can just pick that up by hand. Boom, I have a stone. Now once I unlock a pick, which you will get after you fight the first boss, there, I can chop those stones up. Oops. And I can chop up any of those stones on the ground and get myself stone. So that is what I'm going to cover just for the initial amount of resources, just to get started. Once you have sticks and stones, you can make the axe, chop down trees. Then the next thing I want to cover is tip number 2, food. You'll notice that I have this lox meat pie, blood pudding, and regular lox meat. But these are the 3 that I have on me. These are sort of lower tier, but if I hover over it, I can see what each one does, how many health points and stamina points it gives me. The better food, it's going to give you better health and stamina. So I can't recommend that enough. But when you're getting started, you're going to find these raspberry bushes all over the meadows. These things are going to be easy to find, and I picked up those mushrooms earlier. So between mushrooms and these raspberries, you already have 2 out of your 3 foods. That's not going to give you a ton of health and stamina, but it's good just when you're getting started. Another thing that helps out is honey, and we'll get back to the base and I'll show how honey works. Okay, up here on my roof I have beehives. Now you're going to find bees' nests scattered about the meadows, and I recommend just shoot it with an arrow. It will destroy that bee's nest, and once you have the bee's nest destroyed, it'll drop honey, but it'll also drop a queen bee. And with 10 wood and a queen bee, you can build one of these hives. They will stack up to 4 in each one. So I mean, I can top off my honey supply easily by coming up here. I don't even come up here that often anymore, just because yeah. And my gosh, I'm finding these spots where my walkway is missing stones. It's really bugging me. I have to figure out what's going on there. The last thing about food that I want to talk about is crops. Once you have the pick and you can start mining copper and tin, you can make bronze, which is going to make the cultivator, which you can use to turn ground and cultivate it, and then you can grow plants. I have the spacing pretty much figured out, but they can be a little closer. I just try to throw them down. Now the carrot seeds, you're going to find those in the Black Forest, and the turnip seeds, which are here, you're going to find those in the swamp. And one of my dogs is just wandering out and about. How did you get out, dude? This is my little doghouse, and I don't understand how my dogs get out. But this is a tips and tricks video, and I'm not going to complain about little stuff anymore. I think we've covered the food, and that brings us up to tip number 3, weapons and armor. And so I'll talk about it again when I talk about the bosses, but weapons and armor, you're going to go up through certain tiers. So you're going to have your lower level I have a bronze sword, and then I have an iron sword, and then I have a silver sword, and now I have a black metal sword. And yes, black metal. Awesome. Okay, so I have all of those goodies, and those are built. Once I get my bronze, I can make a forge. If you want to repair equipment, it's done with this little thing. It doesn't cost any resources in order to repair, so repair early, repair often. Keep your stuff all repaired and looking great. Armor, you're going to start off with rags from killing pigs, and then you're going to progress into leather from killing deer. This antler pickaxe, this hard antler is a drop from killing the first boss. So once you kill the first boss, you can get your first pick, go around, find copper and tin. They will be found in the Black Forest. I have found copper and tin on the edge of the meadows next to the Black Forest. If you want to see what your armor rating is, it's this number right here where the shield icon is, and 100 is the max. So my character has max armor. This wolf armor, wolf fur cape, reason I have that on is that I will die in the mountains if I do not have a piece of fur cloth on or a frost resistance mead, which is right here. So just pay close mind after you beat the third boss in the swamps and you're getting ready to go to the mountains, that you don't just go there without having some frost resistance. Once you kill your first couple of wolves, you'll be fine. You'll be able to deal with it. We're going to take a portal over to the base of the mountain so I can show that effect, and that'll be the last tip on the armor side of things. I already said at the beginning that it's the 6 tips, but I also want to include here, this is my taming pin for the wolves. If I want to tame an animal, I have to trap it. So you can build up these pens around an area, and I can lure a wolf into this thing and then close it off. And then a wolf, I just have to give it meat. So I drop in raw meat into the cage and it will tame. It takes a while. Alright, we're in the mountain biome right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off this fur cape. And it says, you are freezing, and you can see me taking the damage. Now, if you don't have a ton of hit points like I do, this could be pretty deadly pretty quick. I mean, I'm losing 1 point of health pretty fast. So once I throw that back on, or if I drink a frost resistance mead, then I'm fine. I don't take any more damage from that. So double bonus. I showed you the last thing about the armor, but also showed you how to trap and tame animals. Now, I am releasing videos in my series, but I didn't bother taming an animal in my series until really later on. So it's not really worth covering too much in detail, because eventually you'll see it throughout my playthrough. And I'm trying to release my Valheim content almost on a daily basis. I have so much of it, and a lot of the episodes are ready to be pushed out. So those are going to be coming out rapid fire, and you can see my progression. But the next tip number 4, we're going to talk about building. You can see I have these pillars that go up. Now once you get to the swamps, you'll get to the Iron Age, and once you get there, it's going to unlock what's called the Stone Cutter. I need a Stone Cutter to make stone building pieces. You can also see here in how I organize this, we have these 4-point pillars so I can make this ceiling. The reason why that's important is because building requires support to be done in specific areas. If your supports aren't on point, nothing's going to work. And so I had to put these pillars in to support that stone ceiling. I have to have a crafting bench. This is the crafting bench to build anything at all. So if I want to use a stone cutter, I also have to have the crafting bench to put down the stone cutter. These are improvements. You can see how they link up. If I hover, you can see it sort of glowing a bit. These all upgrade the level of the workstation or workbench. So the more of those I have in place, the higher this level is here. So this is maxed out, I believe, workbench level 5. Same thing with the forge. You have the bellows, you have the anvil, and all of that has this forge at level 7. Now, I don't want to cover too much more on building. Obviously, you're going to understand a lot of this as you build. But if I want to build anything, I have to have the workbench first. If I'm trying to use the workbench, I have to have it covered. So if I were trying to build, let's say, wooden arrows using the workbench, I would have to have a roof over it. And it's pretty easy to do. Just throw up some walls, put a roof over it, and you're done. And that is what I'm going to talk about with building. And the next one's going to be pretty quick. I'm going to talk about the skills. So in here, I can choose this option, and it tells me what my skills are. It's pretty simple. The more I run, the run skill goes up, jumping, swimming, and so forth. Some of these you can tell I've never used pole arms. I've never used knives. I figure, yeah, you know what, maybe once I've done everything else, I'll do that. But skills, the only last thing I'll say about that in this tips video is that skills do take a penalty on death. I believe it is a 5% penalty. So my skills have suffered a little bit just because of my deaths, which makes dying really something you want to avoid, especially once you've worked hard to build those skills up. You'll lose in those skills. Now after death, you'll have a no skill drain timer, which will prevent you from losing any experience if you died again. I think that's just, it gives you an opportunity to gather your stuff. On to the last tip, we're going to talk about the bosses. Now there are 5 bosses in the game. And the way I have this built out right now is I have a portal that goes to the stones. And the stones are nearby the first boss. I'm going to show where the first boss is spawned, but then I'll just talk about the other ones. I don't want to give, I don't want to spoil the game for anybody that's looking to explore, because this one you get sort of automatically. You get dropped off right here, right in this circle. And each time I defeat a boss, I can hang their trophy on these hooks to get the perk. This one, -60 and jump and run stamina. This one, faster wood cutting. Bone mass, which I have equipped, I can't see. That's resistance against physical damage. So bone mass is an awesome one to have. Always have a tailwind with motor. And Yagluth is resistance to all magic damage. So poison, fire, all those. But when you get dropped off here, you're going to get this stone. And this stone gives you the location of the first boss. So we're going to run down to that location. I'm going to explain how you spawn that boss, and then what about the other bosses can I talk about to finish up this video. And if I look a little scattered, it's because my mouse keeps sliding over to my other screen. And the reason it's doing that is I'm downloading Microsoft Flight Simulator. I just thought it'd be fun to see if I could... it looks like a really pretty game, so I figured I'd give it a try. But back to Valheim. Sorry, getting distracted. In order to spawn this boss, I have to equip 2 deer antlers to one of my item slots. Go up and press that. It'll spawn the boss. Once I defeat the boss, it's going to drop a trophy. That is used on those stones to unlock that power. It'll also drop the hard antler that you need in order to make that first pickaxe, which is going to get you into the Metal Age. And that's where I want to talk about the last of the bosses as I'm running back to base here. So the first boss is the deer. You use the deer trophies, and you get the pick and the stamina and run power, which is great when you're starting off in the game. The second boss is called the Elder, and the Elder is part of the Black Forest biome, which is the next biome after the meadows. After you defeat the Elder, it is going to send you to the Swamp biome. The Swamp biome is where you're going to unlock iron, and you get iron from the Sunken Crypts, and once you get the iron, it's also going to unlock stone construction, which you can see here. And I have glitched through my wall. Maybe that's how my wolf got out, because of the game loading. You can manipulate the terrain in this game, and if you do it, if you manipulate it a lot, it causes the game to really lag out when you first get to a big base like I've built here. So I bet you that's how that wolf got out. Now the Elder is unlocked with the Ancient Seeds. The Ancient Seeds can be found in the Black Forest, and you'll get those by killing the dwarves. They drop them rare occasion. But there's also these dwarf spawners. You'll see them because they'll glow with like a purplish glow. And those are going to drop, if I destroy one of those spawners, it's going to drop this, which is an ancient seed. I think you need 3 of them, and that will spawn the elder. You find the elder by going into the burial chambers in the Black Forest, and eventually you'll find the stone. You will also find the Surtling cores. These Surtling cores, I found all 10 I needed to build both the forge and the kiln, and because it takes 5 for each. And that's how you smelt the metal that you get. So you'll need to do a tomb before you get your bronze stuff, but once you get iron, smelt that up, you'll get into the stone stuff, you'll be able to build that. It'll all be great and wonderful. So after the elder, you will end up going into the swamp, where you will find the location of bone mass by going into what's called Sunken Crypts. And inside the Sunken Crypts, you're going to find 2 things. The first is iron scraps. The iron is what's going to unlock the stone building and all kinds of stuff. But you'll also find in those Sunken Crypts these withered bones. I think it's 3, maybe 4 withered bones, and that will spawn the bone mass boss. After bone mass, now you're going to be going into the mountain biome. You'll also get a wishbone by killing bone mass, and that wishbone can be equipped, and it's going to give you the location of silver. Along with silver, you can also use it to locate treasures. So if there's a stone outline somewhere, usually those have treasures, and the treasures can be used with the trader. I go over all this in my videos. In fact, it'll be in my series here soon. But if you want me to do a video on how I found the trader, I can do that. Well, let's just say it now. I'm going to put a website up right now. If you use this website, you can go to there and you can plug in the name of your seed that you used. And that is going to show you all the spawn points where the trader could possibly spawn in the Black Forest. All you need to do is go to the closest one. Once you go there, that trader is permanently there. They will only appear at that first one, and then all the other spawns are pointless. So you can use that generator, figure out where your trader spawns at. I recommend building a portal next to him. That way you can quickly go there. But I have so much treasure now, and I've already bought all I need. I have this circlet that gives me light in the Sunken Crypts and in the burial chambers. I also have the weight belt, which raises my weight from 300 to 450. Still on tip 6 though, but we're going to finish that off. Motor is in the mountains, and to summon Motor, you need these dragon eggs. Another good reason why we talk about the trader, because I need to haul these. These weigh 200 a piece. So with the weight belt, I can haul one around and get it to the altar. You need, I think, 3 of them at the altar to summon Motor. Once you defeat Motor, then you're going to the very last biome, and that's the plains biome. That is where you will find Yagluth. Usually to find him, you need to look for some kind of stone structure, like a ring of stones. They'll typically have the summoning stone where you can find the location of it. The plains is also where you're going to get black metal. And you'll also find totems. And those totems are located inside of the camps. And that will allow you to spawn the last boss. I know I've been going 100 miles an hour. I'm just trying to cover a lot of information real quick. This is just a general introduction video to the progression of the game and some of the things that I was trying to figure out when I was playing. But if you do have other questions, if there are other things you would like me to cover or create videos on, I would love to do so. I want to thank you for watching. I hope you like this, and I hope you're checking out the series. I'm posting videos very frequently now on Valheim, and I've already beat the last boss, but I'm still having a lot of fun building and playing and just trying stuff out, like my insane wolf army outside. I never tamed a single thing in this game until after I had already beaten the last boss. But I would be happy to answer any questions. If you do like the video, please drop a like. If you haven't already, I would love it if you could subscribe and yeah, tell us what you think, and hopefully you enjoy this content. If there's another game you think you would like us to cover, please let us know. But other than that, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and we will see you on the next episode of Valheim. Take care, everybody.